Okay, so we're here celebrating 30 years of the Arab American News. Osama Sablani started this newspaper 30 years ago. Auni Fakuri, hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
So, how long have you known Osama, and what's...
I think I know him for about 30 years,
30 years?
since maybe before he started, and we are so proud of him. The Arabic community, Arab American community, appreciate everything he does. He's always in the front line. He's an honest, with integrity, and he cares.
It tells it like it is at times?
Does it all the times.
No matter who's at the other end of the pen.
That's why we appreciate him. We appreciate what he's doing. God bless you, Osama, and
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Auni. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, very proud.
From Dearborn here, we're celebrating again 30 years with the Arab American News.
Good evening, our viewers. Another exciting night tonight with the Arab American newspaper, Sada al-Watan. The 30th, celebrating their 30th year since establishment. And with us tonight, we're so excited to welcome Mayor of City of Westland, Mayor Wild. Welcome. Anything to say about this occasion?
You know, this is a great night, and you can see there's a big crowd filling in. They're expecting over 650 people here tonight. You know, we're just so proud of the Arab American News. They've done an incredible job for the last 30 years. You know, they're the voice of the community, and you know they've always done a really good job of making sure that the good news got out of there. But they're also advocates, and they haven't shied away from the tough stuff either. But they've really done a great job. We're very proud of them.
I know the City of Westland services a lot of Arab Americans now that they're expanding towards your area. Kind of, what's your experience with that?
You know, absolutely. You know, the City of Westland's a very diverse community, and we're very welcoming. And we do have a growing population of Arab Americans. We actually, in the last couple of years, opened up a charter school, an Arab American charter school called the Universal Learning Academy. That's actually kindergarten through 10th grade. So, you know, we're a very welcome community, and we're open for business.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Abid, how are you?
Good, how are you?
How's everything going here today?
Good, alhamdulillah.
So how long have you known Osama? Are you celebrating here
For about 30 years almost.
30 years?
Yes.
And your opinion on the newspaper and the change that he made in the world of the Arabs?
This newspaper and Osama are some of the pillars of this community, and they played a huge role in the progress this community made over the last 30 years, especially socially and politically, and the integration of this community in the American fabric.
Yeah, I myself, I always look forward to seeing articles and reading it for quite a while. It gives us an opportunity to write our own story and express things that are going on, whether it's here locally or around the world. But he does tell it like it is at times, doesn't he not?
Exactly. Osama is what you see is what you get, and he takes a position he has to take regardless of the consequences, regardless of who's happy, who's not happy. Osama is going to do what Osama believes in is the right thing for the community.
Thank you so much. A congratulations message to him?
Congratulations, inshallah, another 30 years
30
at least.
years.
And with us tonight in this exciting evening, the 30th celebration of the establishment of the Arab American News, Sada al-Watan, the director, Mr. Bing Gawi, the director of the Office of the Two Americas, and it's an immigration affiliation office with Governor Snyder. Welcome. We're glad to have you with us tonight in this beautiful event. What do you want to wish for Arab American National?
Well, I'm so appreciative to be invited to this wonderful event, and thank you so much for the invitation. We in Michigan are very honored and privileged to have a significant Arab American population. They have brought a great deal of economic strength to the state of Michigan, but more than that, they also have brought a cultural and a faith strengthening of our society, and we are deeply appreciative of all the contributions Arab Americans have made to the state of Michigan.
And on behalf of the community, we're also appreciative of all your positive services that you're providing with Governor Snyder. Anything else you want to tell our viewers tonight?
Well, we hope that they have an opportunity to come and visit this wonderful city of Dearborn in the state of Michigan. And when they do, I hope that they will find a very welcoming community and culture. And we hope that they will stay too.
Yes, welcome and come visit Dearborn. It's very cultural.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ali? You are one of few men in this community that is an icon along with everything else that goes on in this community. And I know that you've been involved and you know Osama and you've been a part of the Arab American News for a while too. What's your message to Osama and what can you tell us about the Arab American News?
First of all, I would like to congratulate my friend Osama Sablani and his team for celebrating the 30 years. I've been with this newspaper since day one for 30 years, and I follow every week what is being written on it. It is very, very good newspaper because it take your idea and someone else's idea. Sometimes you might don't like what people rate, but you have the opportunity to rate back. And I believe is not only talking about the social things, education, politicians, and its way wasn't, easy. It faced a lot of challenge, financially, etc., and some other people. I believe this newspaper been fighting and defending our community, the Arab American community, and also Muslim American community.
He has. He's been through a lot of ups and downs, and he always comes up shining at the top.
Yep, he been suffering a lot, up and down, but he always coming up and
Built a strong foundation for this newspaper.
it is, and I hope, that this newspaper will continue in for 30 years and 30 years. And I hope everybody will also support my friend Osama because he's doing tremendous job.
Thank you so much for that. And we want to congratulate him and wish him another 30 years and more.
Yep.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again. As you can see, it's a very, very exciting evening. The 30th, celebrating the 30th year for establishing the Arab American News. With us tonight, I'm so excited to welcome an activist for peace and for bridging gaps between communities and cultures and faiths. With us is Laura Yoranda. Hello, Laura. I'm so excited to have you with us, and thank you for accepting to talk to us. Please tell me your experience with the Arab American News.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. It's just such a treat to be here tonight because I really appreciate this paper because they recently featured our group in the paper, and because we are called The Bridge. And
That's wonderful.
Thank you. Yes, and like you so eloquently stated, it's very important to us to be able to bridge gaps between different communities and create opportunities for people that often don't understand each other just simply because they don't know each other. We have a chance to get to know each other and realize how much we have in common, and we just really love and value these relationships. And the fact that this paper, the Arab American News, cares about these issues and saw fit to do a story on us is just greatly appreciated. It's a very special thing to us and very near and dear to our hearts.
It's wonderful. And as a bridger here, I thank the Arab American News for taking on this stop and stepping to the plate and hosting or talking about your activities. I'm so glad that it was a positive experience with the Arab American News, and we want to congratulate them.
They did a beautiful story, and they captured the heart of what we're trying to do so beautifully, and we're very grateful.
Thank you very much, Laura Yoranda. Thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you. Congratulations to Arab American News.
Hello, Mayor. How are you today?
Great, doing very well today.
I know that we're here today celebrating 30 years with the Arab American News, and I know that you've known Osama for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
And the Arab American News has been quite a staple in Dearborn, and I know that he does local and international.
Right.
As a mayor, what's your opinion? And
I think it's great. I mean, the communication is so important. There needs to be a way to let people know what's going on. And I've been involved politically in one way or another that in Dearborn, though, but have known him for all 30 years because I've been involved for that long. And again, especially because he's able to bridge the gap for the community with both English and Arabic speaking. So it's really good.
And I always look at Dearborn as being such a hometown place.
Right.
And people like Osama and yourself and people, leaders in this community have always been team players. And it's always been such a positive and great place, even with all the narratives in the world and some of the stuff that we deal with. I mean, we've always brought a positive perspective to a lot of the things that we've dealt with, and he's exposed a lot of the stuff in the newspapers also.
Yeah.
And we thank you, and I think even him, for creating that bridge in a more positive way.
Well, what you're saying is the most important part. Here in Dearborn, over the years, and Osama's been a major factor in this, we've learned to have dialogue before there's problems. And so the Bridges program, which he was very, very significant in creating that, it's now become a national model because we have all these advocacy groups and all of the government groups, everybody from the federal on down, who meet regularly and discuss issues before they become problems. And so what happens is there's a trust built up within the community. So we're humans. Something's going to go wrong sometime. And we have now here a way that we can sit down and look at events kind of without all the emotion engaged, and then figure out how do we go forward, what do we do. And that's been, for our community, it's been such a blessing, because as long as we together have good trust and dialogue, then when people from the outside try and mess with us,
which they have.
Oh yeah, they love to mess with us.
They have.
But Osama's been a great person. He's always there every time Miss Jones or Act 17 Apologetics, all those people came in. He was there as supporting, challenging, but informing people, and that's the key thing, because we avoided the kind of things that can happen because everybody knew they're getting good information, and that's it.
And I think it's all because of common sense conversations and people with sensible minds, and we are all an intricate part of that. So thank you so much for your time, and we want to thank Osama again. Congratulations.
And congratulations, Osama. Wonderful.
Another exciting face, and ابنة الجالية المحامية الشهيرة النشيطة with us, Mona Fadlallah, an attorney, and she's gonna tell us about her experience and congratulate the Arab American News on this big night, their big night. Hi.
Yes. Hi, how are you? I definitely want to congratulate Osama Sablani and the Arab American News for doing such a fantastic job in making Arab Americans relevant all over the world. The stories that he has brought to the table have been good stories, important stories, relevant stories, making all Arab Americans as important as we think they are.
Well, thank you, Mona. We hope you enjoy your night, and we wish you success in all of your endeavors and your projects. And I know you're very active and very busy. Thank you for giving us the time.
My name is Ed Deeb. I'm the chairman of the Michigan Food and Beverage Association and the Youth Appreciation Foundation.
We're very excited to welcome you with us tonight. What do you want to say about the event tonight?
Yeah, I want to say, as far as Mr. Sablani, he's a great man, a great publisher. He's come a long way. I have a degree in journalism, just like he does, and I'm very happy to be here to celebrate this 30th anniversary. This is wonderful. Yes, 30 years, and we need 30 more. Yes.
30 more, Osama.
That'd be great. Yes, we're very happy. The food industry is happy. The business community is happy. We're all very happy, and we're going to give him an honor. And within a month or so, I have a special honor for him.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful news. Good things are coming along for Osama and for the Arab American News. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
أعزائي المشاهدين، لازلنا في تفاعل الاحتفال الليلة بذكرى تأسيس صدى الوطن، ذكرى 30 لتأسيس صدى الوطن. معي الليلة سيدة من المجتمع، ناشطة في حقوق الإنسان، إنسانة مرت بمعاناة، وأحب أن أسمع منها الليلة ما كانت تجربتها مع الإعلام العربي في أمريكا. باسم تلفزيون MEA أحب أن أشكرك لطلب الدعوة سيدة رحاب عامر، رحاب حمقى عامر، شكرا لك. وبهذه المناسبة ذكرى تأسيس Arab American News، جريدة صدى الوطن، ماذا تثير لديك من ذكريات؟ أنا أعرف أنهم ساندوك. كانت لديك قضية ربما معظم الإعلام يعلمها، ولكن لمن لا يعلم رجاء علمينا.
يعني لقلك الحقيقة، يعني قد ما قلك المأساة اللي مرينا فيها والجالية العربية ما عرفت قصة معاناتنا إلا من فضل الله وأسامة بالنسبة للجريدة. فلما لما بحطوا الإعلام بالأمريكاني معظم عنا بالجالية ما بيحكوا بالإنجليزي، ما بيفهموا شو الموضوع. فبالفعل أخ أسامة بجيب وبحطها عنده بالجريدة وبترجمها بالعربي ليفهم عنا الشعب بالجالية شو معاناته ومأساة عائلة عامر، ليقدروا يتفهموا شو الموضوع.
بنوجه شكر خاص للأخ أسامة سبلاني ولجهوده بإظهار هذه القضية الإنسانية اللي فعلا كانت يعني تدمى لها القلوب.
بالنسبة هالمناسبة بقول لهم ألف مبروك على 30 سنة، وإن شاء الله بتضلها عامرة بالفعل
50 سنة بعد
50 و60 سنة، مع أنه بالفعل يعني الجريدة يعني حملت مأساة معاناة كثير من الجالية، وبس بنفس الوقت الحمد لله كل شيء تفهم الموضوع. وبالنسبة للجريدة وأسامة أنه دخلت ظل الجو موجود بمعاناة كل إنسان عنده معاناة، يعني بتجي لله وللجريدة وإن شاء الله خير. الله مبروك والله سبحانه وتعالى يوفقه.
أتمنى لك النجاح والفرج إن شاء الله بقضيتك. سيدة رحاب عامر، لك ولزوجك السيد أحمد عامر نوجه تحية وننحني احتراما لجهودكم، ونشكر مرة ثانية الأستاذ أسامة على مساندته لكم طوال فترة معاناتكم.
Good evening, everybody. It is an honor and a privilege to welcome you all to the 30th anniversary celebration of the Arab American News. The Arab American News is a vital resource and service to this community. It has helped connect us with the people around us and all over the world in languages that we can understand and in viewpoints that we can identify with. We have a great program ahead of us today, and I promise to keep the introductions short and sweet. And with that, I'd like to invite our first person up to the podium, Attorney Abed Hammoud.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate the 30th anniversary of this great paper, which is also a celebration of 30 years of progress of this community. Because the Arab American News and its publisher, my dear friend and brother Osama, contributed in significant ways to the rise of this community and to its transformation from a cluster of immigrant families wanting to survive in this land of opportunity to becoming an important part of the fabric of this great American society, especially at the political level. This progress was the result of tireless work of several individuals and organizations, many of whom are present here tonight. And most prominent among them, of course, is the Arab American News and Osama Siblani. Tonight, as we congratulate them on this milestone, it's only fitting to remember the foundation of these great accomplishments. Looking at our community today, it's like looking at and admiring a nice skyscraper. It's only natural to get caught up with this architectural beauty and shiny glass and painting and everything else. Rarely do we stand in front of a building and rave about the solid foundation that's in the ground, the number of rocks that had to be shattered in pieces to make room for that foundation, or the sweat, blood, and risks taken by the workers at the early stage of construction. Osama and this paper are a part of what makes this community look great today. Yes, they are. But they certainly were they were there sweating in the trenches starting years ago, breaking the rocks that helped erect this foundation years ago. It's the work of Osama and this paper that started more than 30 years ago that made it only natural and expected that Arab Americans not only run for office these days, but they also get elected. And in some instances, they are the top vote getters. Osama and the paper Osama and the paper stood with candidates and causes long before there were 20,000 plus voters, Arab American voters in Dearborn. They waged campaigns even when the odds were against them, because they knew that someone needed to build that foundation before admiring the beautiful building. I know it because I witnessed it and I lived it with Osama and the Arab American News. That's why your support here tonight is so important, because it guarantees the independence this paper needs to continue taking the positions and the tough stands when warranted, because the community, you, are behind it, so you can take the tough stands. Ladies and gentlemen, when AIPAC started in 1998, we were viewed by many as a bunch of rebels and troublemakers. But the Arab American News and Osama saw this community's political future in AIPAC. Osama didn't shy away from the idea of AIPAC. He embraced it, and he became one of the founders. And he promoted personally and in a paper, even when doing so made him some enemies. Yes, at the beginning of AIPAC, Osama had some enemies. In fact, one businessman went and bought the building that Osama's office was in on Schaefer, just to give him 10 days notice so he can evict the building fast and so the paper can be shut down. This really happened. So what happened after they kicked him out of that building, for about 6 months, the paper did not miss one issue. It was working from an undisclosed location, underground literally, in some basement, and it never missed a beat until Osama was able to move the new building. That's the type of person Osama is. That's what the Arab American News is about. When the Dearborn Board of Education of the 90s said no to building more schools in East Dearborn, it was tough to stand up against the board and against the schools. Osama took that stand along with the people who did, because at the time, most of the community members and leaders said, we can't say no to the schools, we have to follow what they say. And several people, including Osama, the paper said, no, we gotta build these schools now. It was not easy to take that stand because he was going against the majority. And he convinced, and the paper convinced the community to say no twice along with AIPAC in order to build the schools that we have today. Go drive around today and see the schools that we have built in early 2000s. They are adding buildings on every single school. The school board in 2000 said, you're never going to have enough people to fill these schools. Osama and the papers and the people standing with them and AIPAC said, we're going to need them. Trust us, we know our people. Look, now they need to expand. Just imagine what would have happened if we did not build these schools in the early 2000s. That's what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. Our kids, thousands of kids are housed in schools because of the tough stands this paper took. I'm not going to tell you here all the good stuff about Osama. I'm not going to even tell you the bad stuff. I'm not going to tell you his best ideas usually come up at 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning. So if you're working with him, good luck. It's tough. He stays up day and night to work for this community. People don't realize that. People don't realize for every flyer you see how many drafts he tore apart and said, let's start over around midnight. Now look at him say, Osama, I got work tomorrow. Says, we can't go to the people with this. We have to do it better. Osama, the presence of these great people here tonight and their contributions show how grateful this community is for all you have done. You and this paper are the embodiment of the American dream. And I'm personally delighted our path crossed a few years ago. We get to work together on many projects. We worked hard, but we learned a lot. And tonight, I am prouder than ever to call you brother. Congratulations again.
We're going to be calling a few people to provide some recognitions to the Arab American News. The first is a video presentation by our United States Senator, Gary Peters. If you can direct your attention to the screen.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much to the Arab American News and Osama Sablani for inviting me to be with you today. I'm sorry I can't join you in person to celebrate this milestone, but I extend my sincere congratulations to the Arab American News on 30 years of journalistic excellence. As the largest and oldest Arab American newspaper in the country, the Arab American has highlighted the struggles, successes, and contributions of the Arab American community in Michigan and across the country. From a-depth analysis of local issues affecting Arab Americans in Michigan to updating our state on the latest events in the Middle East, the Arab American News has provided a forum to discuss the Arab American experience, even winning the Spirit of Diversity Award from Wayne State, among other recognitions. I also want to recognize publisher Osama Sablani for his work not just for the Arab American News, but his contributions to journalism as a whole. In 2013, he was inducted into the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame, the first inductee from an ethnic media outlet. I've gotten to know Osama well over the years, and I've always admired his tough questioning and ability to shed light on critical community news. So Osama, thank you for your service to the field of journalism, Metro Detroit, and the state of Michigan. Michigan's Arab American community has been essential to strengthening our state's diversity, both culturally and economically. Throughout my years representing Michiganders in Washington, I've come to know the Arab American community closely and truly cherish the friendships I've developed over the years. By prioritizing family values and the importance of strong education, the community has made Michigan the hardworking, diverse, and proud state that it is today. As doctors, engineers, small business owners, and entrepreneurs, Arab Americans have enriched our state in countless ways and have made this a better place to live for all of us. Arab Americans make our state better, and the work of the Arab American News is doing to connect local, national, and international issues to the communities and vice versa is critical. Again, I congratulate the Arab American News on 30 years of success, and I wish you many more.
Well said. I would like to invite the Honorable Judge Gerald E. Rosen, Chief Judge of the United States District Court, Eastern District of Michigan, up.
Thank you very much, and it's wonderful to be here with all of you to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Arab American News and to celebrate this community and Osama Sablani and what he means, not only in this community, but to all of us in southeastern Michigan, our region, and indeed in the entire state. Since I have become Chief Judge of our court, I have really learned to appreciate and grown to admire and respect the work that Osama and his newspaper does for our greater community. He brings people together. He highlights and sheds light upon issues that are of importance and really strives to reach out even beyond this community to other communities, and our court has been the beneficiary of that. We've had programs here in Dearborn to encourage wider diversity in our juries that Osama and the community has worked for. We had a terrific turnout for one of our programs, and we welcomed to the court about 2 years ago a number of the religious leaders from this community to break bread with us and share their thoughts about the importance of community involvement with our court and with the jury. I have no idea how many people are here. It must be close to 1,000 people. But this is the number of people that are here are a measure, Osama, of the admiration, respect, and love that we all have for you. And you are not only a great journalist, you're not only a great member of our larger community, but you're a statesman. Obviously, somebody who we all respect and come to for advice. And I know from our Saturday afternoon lunches together that you are a problem solver. All the problems are brought together at the table, and everybody looks to you. And it's obvious that everybody here, Osama, admires and respects you. So thank you for having me. And I bring the congratulations of my court and our larger court family with me.
Good evening. It's really great to be here among so many friends to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Arab American News. And I look across this room and I see such a diverse cross-section of people. The leaders of the Arab American community who have all come to, I'm thinking of the moments. I'll come back to those moments in a minute. But the mayor, the Dearborn City Council, and you're going to hear from the county commissioners, the state legislators, but your colleagues from the other, and I see Bill Wild, I'm going to get in trouble if I start down that road, so I won't start down that road. But your colleagues at the other newspapers. So not only, Osama, what you have done for the Arab American community, but what you've done for ethnic communities and other communities in being there for freedom of speech and putting attention on issues is something that we are celebrating tonight. Osama started the Arab American News in 1984 to provide unbiased, balanced coverage of events in the Middle East. In the years since, he has built the largest and most widely circulated Arab American publication in the United States. And I was speaking with the Secretary Kerry last week. Yesterday, the Assistant Secretary followed up and I called Osama. We have a problem in this community. We have too many Yemenis Americans that are stuck and cannot get out right now. And the State Department needs to be doing more to evacuate. And they said, we're not hearing from people. And I said, because you're not communicating correctly. We need to call Osama up. And I did. I called Osama yesterday. And I said, we need to get the information to him in time for his Friday publication. That's what those of us in this community know, the importance of the communication that he has done over the years. It's also, he has, as previously discussed, brought this community together and created a political presence. I can think of many moments that should be in history books. From the time that George Bush is called in, to the time that a certain former Secretary of Defense was talking about Lebanon in a not informed way. I don't remember how many of you know of that. But Osama brings us together. And what's great about this group is that we're not afraid to have honest dialogues. And he has created for Arab Americans in this country the fact that this community is an important political community, but Americans as well. So because of that, I know he's going to be getting a lot of plaques and awards. And I decided that I wanted to give you something that you would know how much I know your importance as an American is too. So today, we flew a flag over the Capitol of the United States to remember this dinner that we want for you to have at the Arab American News. So, thank you. Thank you for all you do, and may you be here for decades to come.
What an incredible gesture. I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Jonathan Woolman, editor and publisher of the Detroit News. Thank you.
Good evening to the friends of the Arab American News. I certainly count myself among you. I am a visitor from the mainstream media, editor and publisher of the Detroit News, admirer of the Arab American News, the role it plays every day, the platform it gives to this community, and the heroic journalism that is conducted not only with Osama as our leader, but with a staff that digs deep. The paper was founded in 1984-85. Do you even remember? Pick your year. Technology was expensive. Advertising could be hard to come by. For many newspapers, circulation was in slow decline. A challenging time. 30 years later, the result is one of the very best and certainly one of the most important community newspapers in Michigan. It serves the complicated Arab American community with great fortitude and influence. Published in 2 languages. I wake up every morning and I look at the Detroit News and I say, thank goodness we don't have to publish this in 2 languages. Readers near and far, The News is an exotic publication whose success can be traced to the fulfillment of a very basic mission. It serves the needs of its readers. Community newspapers have many functions. They spread good news and bad and ignite the community to do more, to do better. They shine a spotlight on local achievements and, to be sure, a spotlight on watchdog journalism and neighborhood controversies. Osama and his colleagues chronicle the significant moments of Arab American life in blazing headlines and in 90-word briefs. Looking at recent copies of the Arab American News, the attachment between the community and the newspaper is crystal clear. Like no other paper in Michigan, its community is near and far. The front pages are alive with stories about developments in each of the nations that its readers call home. There are reports about high school scholars, milestones in the community of every kind, tidbits on so many community events. There are vigorous investigations into the harassment and discrimination still faced by Arab Americans and Muslims, and commentary about the action needed to create a more tolerant society. If I were critiquing the newspaper with a journalist's eye, I'd note that its pages are always clean and colorful. The writing is crisp. Stories are well edited and presented with impact. The newspaper never ignores the turbulence of its readers' home nations. In any edition, the News will cover the impact of the Arab Spring and the rivalries of the past 24 hours. Who else has to cover so many bases? As a publisher, I look at the paper's advertising in admiration. Congratulations to Osama and to the Arab American News. It is a true mirror of the community, and we wish you 30 more.
Next, I would like to invite Mr. Chuck Stokes, Editorial and Public Affairs Director of Channel 7 WXYC Detroit, up. Thank you.
Good evening. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you this evening and to celebrate this momentous occasion with Osama Sablani. Osama's a man who has made his living with words, powerful words, whether they're coming out of his mouth or they're coming out of his publication. And Osama, I think about more than a century ago, a great African-American publisher named John Russwurm started a publication called Freedom's Journal. And then in that very first issue, he wrote, "We wish to plead our own cause. For too long, others have pleaded it for us." And when you stop and think about it, that can easily be translated to what Osama Sablani did 30 years ago when he started the Arab American News. He said, it's time to plead our own cause. And as the banner says up over me, representing and defending our, O-U-R, community. And so when I think about those words, I also think about the man Osama Sablani. And I was thinking earlier about words that describe him. Certainly a friend, a journalistic colleague, as my good friend and publisher of the Detroit News has just said, a trusted advisor. If you know Osama, he's also a food connoisseur. If you've ever gone to lunch with Osama, you usually come out about 10 pounds heavier than when you went in. And you can never say, oh, no more, because he just keeps on pushing it to you. So you learn to say, yes, I'll take more. And he's taken me to some of the best restaurants in Dearborn. He's courageous. He is fearless. When others say, no, we can't rattle that cage, Osama Sablani has said, it's my job to make those who perhaps need to be uncomfortable, uncomfortable. Many years ago, I called him up. I was involved with the National Conference of Editorial Writers, and we were doing a conference in a convention in Nashville. And it was right around all the 9/11 stuff, and so the organization was desperately looking for people to be able to come in and speak about what was going on and could represent an Arab American point of view. And so they said, you know anybody? And I said, yeah, I know just the person. And so I called Osama, and without hesitation, he jumped on a plane, he came down, and he spoke, and he was quoted all over the country by these journalists because of his insight and his foresight. Whenever you call up Osama and say, I need you, whether it's to be on my Spotlight program or I need you in the newscast or whatever it is, a panel discussion, sometimes if you give him 3 weeks notice, he says yes, and if you give him 24 hours notice, he says yes. He drops what he's doing, and he does it because of his commitment to his newspaper and his community, and he knows that few people will represent it better than he will, and so he doesn't want to take the chance of somebody else not doing as well, and so he's there, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. His involvement with the New Michigan media, the vision and the foresight to be able to have the Arab American News and the Jewish News, the Korean paper, the Korean Weekly, and all of these papers come together and sit down, even though they represent different communities, but realize that there are some things that they have in common. And they were able to find what those things are. And when it's time to disagree, they disagree respectfully. But when it's time to be united as journalists, they do that, and they do that well. And they do it better than any community in the nation, this New Michigan media. And he should be commended for that. He also has a wonderful sense of humor, even in the most serious of times. And I remember during all the 9/11 stuff, and every other word out of our mouth and our stories at that time was Osama bin Laden. And so I invited Osama to come in the Spotlight. And I'm sitting there, and as we make a faux pas, I introduce, I say, and joining me today is Osama bin Laden. And about the time it got out of my mouth, I'm like, oh, I didn't say that. Luckily, we were recording, so I could re-rack the tape. It never got on the air. I said you would. But he never let me live that down, and we laugh about it to this day. And he never took offense because he understood that at that time we were saying it about every other word because we were doing so many stories. And then as recently as last week when he came down to our new downtown studio, and I said, I want you to be the first interview that I do at the new studio for Spotlight. And he said, okay. So he came and said, where should I park, Chuck? I said, just park right out in front. I said, that's not a problem. I said, newsroom told me that spot's sort of reserved for us. So he goes up and he pulls there. About the time I look out, he said, I just got a ticket. I said, you got a ticket? He said, I got a ticket. I said, oh my gracious. So later on that evening, we did a panel discussion over at Wayne State, and he worked that into his remarks, and we laughed about that. But he did it in good humor, and he understood the situation. He's not the type of person to hold grudges. And finally, let me say that I guess what I appreciate and respect the most about Osama is that he has made the most of what he has. You know, when I was a young student many, many years ago down south at Morehouse College, we used to have to go to chapel every Thursday. And they made us learn a little poem that they told us we They wanted us to memorize it because they wanted us to say it to ourselves throughout our career, that in the worst of times, sometimes it would be the only thing that would help you get through whatever you're facing. And I think about Osama when I think about it, and it's called Just a Minute. It goes like this: you have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon you, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to you to use it. You must suffer if you lose it, give account if you abuse it. It's just a teeny tiny minute, but eternity is in it. Osama has made the best of his minute. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you for those kind words. I'd like to invite our next speaker up, Mr. Joe Grimm, veteran journalist and professor of journalism, Michigan State University, also former editor of the Detroit Free Press. Thank you.
The Little Arab American News, the little newspaper that could, was created to fill a gap for information that was being ignored and unnoticed by the major media in this town and around the country. Struggling to survive, the Little Arab American News has become so much more than a newspaper. It has become something so much bigger. Like other ethnic newspapers in our community, the Arab American News has become a voice within the community. It has helped the community identify itself and to come together. It has become a strong voice for the community. Now the big media outlets look to the Arab American News to see what is going on in the community that they never covered or paid that much attention to. Maybe this is the best possible outcome. Journalists like to say that we want to give voice to the voiceless. Seldom do they do that. In most news reports, we hear from people who are far from voiceless, and we hear from them again and again. We don't hear that often from the people who are voiceless. Here we have a case of a strong voice rising from within the community, and we learn, me and my friends in the major media, that this never was a community without a voice. It was a community that was not being listened to, and now it is. A word about Osama Siblani, my fellow journalist, mentor, and friend. He is fond of saying that he never took one journalism class. If he had, he would probably know that we use 30 at the end of the stories. Around here, it looks like 30 is the end of something, as the beginning of something even bigger. Despite never taking a journalism class, Osama was inducted into the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame. I told him he probably wouldn't get in. At the time they were choosing people for the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame, they were also looking for a new pope. I said, Osama, you have a better chance of being elected the first Muslim pope than you do of getting into the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame. Yet he got in, without any journalism education. Are the journalism professors doing something wrong? Did the Hall of Fame do something wrong? Maybe, says Osama. Maybe. Journalism happens when you care very much about something and when you believe so very much in the truth that you work very, very hard to discover the truth and tell it. It is not easy, but that is all that is required. Thank you, Osama, for what you do for all of us.
I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Elias Gutierrez, founder and president of the Latino Press. Thank you.
My name is Elias Gutierrez. I'm the editor and publisher of Latino Press. And I am here representing Hispanic on this special occasion in the Arab community, where there are people like Osama Siblani, a person who, for 30 years, has managed to spread your message to your community through his publication. As a publisher, I can tell you how hard it is to create and maintain a publication. In Osama, you have a person who's made history. a person who's checking on the pulse of the people's rights, matters that affect business and life in this community. I feel very honored to present this award. Please join me and recognize Osama Siblani.
I would like to ask you all to turn your attention to the screens. We have a video presentation made by Oscar Productions for the Arab American News.
When Osama Siblani left Beirut 38 years ago to study at the University of Detroit, he never expected to become a newspaper publisher. Upon graduation, he stayed in the United States and became an engineer. In 1984, the growing Arab American community in Detroit needed a media voice. The Middle East was going through political turmoil that affected Arab lives and interests. No one told the story from the Arab American perspective. Siblani decided the best way to overcome this image was to start a new career as a publisher. He called the newspaper the Arab American News. 30 years later, it remains the largest Arab newspaper in the United States. Though the paper is designed primarily to serve the Arab American community, Siblani's mission has reached far beyond. Born in the heart of Dearborn, the nation's Arab American capital, the newspaper has been published every week since January 1985. Week in and week out, in 2 languages and spanning 3 decades, the paper chronicled intense community growth and world headlines dominated by the Middle East. The newspaper stayed financially independent and editorially courageous. Its success is a telling example of this country's promise of free speech and the Arab American community's potential for fulfilling it. The 1985 TWA hijacking in Beirut brought national attention to Dearborn.
2 leaders of the Lebanese community in Dearborn returned home tonight after meeting with the State Department officials in Washington, D.C.
Osama Siblani, publisher of this country's largest Arab newspaper based in Dearborn, and Nasib Fawaz, head of Detroit's Islamic Center, returned from Washington tonight, calling a meeting they had with a top aide to Secretary of State George Shultz very constructive. The 2 also said they made it clear to the State Department that the Lebanese community in no way condones the hijacking. But Siblani is worried by U.S. military ships off the Lebanese shore and reports of gunfire. The paper also has a correspondent in Beirut monitoring the hostage drama on the TWA jet.
The poll was conducted by the Dearborn-based Sada Al-Watan, a weekly Arabic-English newspaper with a circulation of 10,000. 275 of its readers responded to the phone poll.
To get a better understanding of what's going on in the Middle East, we're going to spend some time with a man from Beirut tonight.
Osama Siblani was born in Lebanon. As you just saw, he owns and publishes that weekly Arabic newspaper. Mr. Siblani, thank you for joining us tonight.
Rising tensions in the Middle East brought more scrutiny to the Arab American community and the paper.
Many of them are concerned, deeply worried. Osama Siblani is the publisher of the Sada Al-Watan newspaper. That's the largest American Arab publication in the country. And he's joining us now live from his office in Dearborn. Mr. Siblani, good evening. Besides the military option, which was obvious, in trying to deal with terrorism, which clearly has become an increasing danger and threat not only to Americans, but to many people around the world.
I think we should search for the source, for the heart of the issues. I think we should be more even-handed in the Middle East. I think we should look at the Palestinian question, resolve it, put some little pressure on Israel to withdraw from Lebanon, to have good friends and allies.
The paper broke major news as it was happening.
Let's go to Detroit now. Detroit is a city, I think it's kind of the unofficial Middle Eastern capital of the United States. A lot of Arab Americans have emigrated to that area over the years, Palestinians, Lebanese, people from Egypt as well, and also from Iraq, and NBC's Lucky Severness is there tonight.
Tom, I'm with Osama Siblani, who is publisher of the largest Arab American paper outside of the Middle East. We're in Dearborn, a suburb of Detroit. I think there are about 250,000 Arab Americans here, is that right?
That is correct, Lucky.
You're putting out a special edition tonight, and from the tears I've seen on some of the workers' faces tonight, this will not be an edition rejoicing or attacking Iraq.
Well, of course not.
Mr. Sablani's credibility has been measured by the quality of his contacts. It is a fact that earlier this evening, 1/2 hour before the attack in the Middle East, Mr. Sablani had reported that information.
I'm also interested in your contacts in the Middle East. I've not forgotten that you called us and told us about a half hour before anybody else seemed to have the word that this attack was going to occur. So clearly, you're well connected in the Middle East.
The paper became a firm voice that does not waver or buckle under pressure.
Let me say first, I haven't, so don't please put words in my mouth.
Well, that's let Mr. Sablani make his point. How would you characterize Saddam Hussein? You apparently don't accept the Hitler analogy. What would you call this monster?
I'll tell you what was Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein is the president of Iraq. He elected by whom? Elected by whom? Elected by the same people who elected by the same people who elected King Fahd, the one that we are defending, or the Emir of Kuwait, who we're trying to restore.
Got you there, Ben.
A national voice.
Mr. Sablani is the publisher of the Arab American News, that well-known paper is based in Detroit.
Violence in the Middle East was not the Arab Americans' only concern. Negative stereotypical portrayals of Arab Americans were being perpetuated by Hollywood and the media. The Arab American News worked hard to debunk the myths about Arabs and Muslims.
The way that the American people seen Islam was through films, and they were portrayed as sheiks with harem and bloodthirsty. They're rich, but they're filthy. They are not educated, they're terrorists. So this image of the Arabs have created an animosity from Americans towards Arabs, a hatred, let's say.
Arab leaders are cold-blooded murderers who organize and carry out terrorist acts throughout the world. Is that true?
In the post-9/11 era, the newspaper took on new responsibilities. The paper conveyed Arab Americans' rejection of terrorism and at the same time stood against profiling and vilifying the Arab American community.
Mr. bin Laden, he is really misinterpreting Islam and using Islam for his own terrorist activities. Islam has nothing to do with him. In fact, he is the one who is committing crime against humanity.
Osama Sablani, publisher of the Arab American News. In Detroit, in your area in Michigan, you know there are militant Muslims, jihadists, correct?
Absolutely not.
Okay, absolutely not?
I don't even know.
Absolutely, are you saying
there are no militant? I'm saying to you that I don't know if there is a militant jihadist in Detroit. I don't even know if there are militant jihadists in New York. I think I praise and I thank the mayor for his action. This is the American way.
Well, wait. No speeches tonight, Mr. Sablani.
You're elected to protect the people and to protect their rights.
Okay, fine.
You're elected to protect the rights of the people, not to harass them.
I just want to get back to you, and you are saying to me that you don't know one militant mosque in Michigan. You're not aware of one. Is that what you're saying to me?
Absolutely not. It's a figment of your imagination, Bill.
All right. So you do not accept that there are any militant mosques operating in Michigan. We know there are militant mosques operating in the New York City area because they have been observed.
I think you should call the FBI.
We know, though. I have called the FBI. Insane.
I am siding with the Constitution.
Oh, yeah.
I am siding
Everybody
with
hides
the
behind the
greatest
Constitution, Mr. Sablani.
on the face of this earth.
Everybody.
I am siding with the Constitution of the best Constitution on the face of this earth, the U.S. Constitution.
The police were not violating anybody's constitutional rights by surveilling people.
Of course you are. When you are surveilling an entire Muslim population, you are violating their rights.
Sablani,
Today
there
is
were
the Muslim,
11 guys
tomorrow
in
is
this
the Latino,
unit, all right?
always the black, tomorrow is the Jews. You and me are going to be next. We cannot allow this to happen. If one person loses freedom, all of us, we lose our freedom.
Despite threats, the Arab American News defended civil rights, supported Palestinians' right to self-determination, and promoted democracy and freedoms everywhere.
This is what Osama Sablani found when he got to work this morning. Piles of glass from a shattered door and window.
This is directly related to the tension in the Middle East, and I would tell people those are cowards, and we should keep the conflict where it is. It's in the Middle East. We can here be seated.
The paper encouraged political participation and urged community members to vote and run for office. The paper received the Spirit of Diversity Award from Wayne State University, and Osama Siblani was inducted into the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame in 2013. The following year, the publication was featured in the National Media Museum in Washington, D.C. For nearly 30 years, the newspaper has been telling Arab American stories. Now the Newseum was telling the Arab American news stories as a part of an exhibit on ethnic media in partnership with the Smithsonian Institution. The Arab American news staff has always been committed to the highest standards of journalism in the paper's quest for the truth. The diversity of the newspaper's employees, who are of different nationalities and religious and ethnic backgrounds, reflects the pluralism of Arab America. We would like to thank our readers and advertisers, pay tribute to our army of staff, and thank them for their hard work over the years. The Arab American News would never have seen the light of day without their dedication. We at the Arab American News will continue to stand up for you and tell your stories.
I forgot to tell you that the police said, I told them Channel 7 told me to park here. He said, well, go and tell Channel 7 that they don't own the curb. Thank you, Judge Rosen, for your kind words, and most importantly, thank you for your friendship. And John Woolman, I'm still a student in your school. Thank you for the kind words. And Gary Peters, U.S. Senator Gary Peters, thank you for, I know that he wanted to be here, but you couldn't because of the U.S. Senate session. And I appreciate the presence of Debbie Dingell, who came in from Washington today to be here. And also I appreciate the presence of Mayor Jack O'Reilly and Mayor Bill Wild. And I think Mayor Dan Paletko is here. I don't know if anybody saw him. If not, then go and bring him. And Benny Napoleon. I don't know if he's still here or not. Thank you. Great Sheriff of Wayne County. I don't want to miss anybody. You know, I know that George Durrani is here. Senator Knezik was here earlier. And I know Gary is going to make a presentation in a few minutes, and Susan DeBaja and some members of our community council, Dearborn Council. And also some of the judges are here. Judge Dave Allen is here, our own judge. Judge Summers is here too. I saw him. I'm gonna miss somebody, I'm gonna be in so much trouble, but it's okay. Trouble is my middle name. Did I say good evening? No. Oh, good evening. And thank you for coming tonight. Thank you to Maryam Bazzi for her MCA. You are a great MC. And thank you, Abed Hamoud. It's always Abed and Osama. Now it's etched in stones. Abed and Osama. And most importantly, thank you, all of you. Just wanted to say before I start my speech, I'm warming up, that some people came here, reserved tables, and paid for them. And when they walked in, they did not find a table for them. Actually, there is no table for them on the floor. They did not get upset, and they did not leave. And hopefully they will not ask for their check back. In fact, they are still here. Look at this. I have gone inside to Habib and begged him to put more chairs, more tables. So if any one of you who came here and did not find a proper seat, and you must be seated in the front, I wanted to tell you, you're all seated right here. You are my family. Without you, I am, and the newspaper would not exist. So the seat, whether you're seated in the corner there, or in the corner there, or here, or there, or here, you are the most important person in this hall. And to me, you are the most important people to me. So if I did something wrong, because I am not really doing this every year. I do this every 10 years. But since I am doing so bad, how about if I do it every year? Thank you very much for coming, and please forgive me for making a mess in seating. We are not really used to this. And thanks to Abed Hamoud again, and to Maryam for helping us doing this. And this beautiful video is done really by the hard work of Oscar Production, my good friend Nasser Muawiyah and Hassan Bazzi. Nasser, thank you very much for doing such a great. Your presence here means a lot. You know, they kept telling me, you know, you are putting too many tables. So we went from 550 to 650, 600. Last night we added 650. After midnight, I was called 67 table. I'm glad to tell you, and I'm happy to say, that we have 72 tables on the floor. That's 720 people, other than those who got angry and left. Those we're going to deliver food for them. I have so many people to thank, and I don't believe that I have enough time, because Ali Jawad told me, you have only 10 minutes. And he sent Abed Hamoud to enforce it. So I don't have enough time. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, 720,000 times. Also, let me thank the host committee individually, those who met every Tuesday to work on the banquet and to raise the money and to sell tickets and tables. I really appreciate your support. Their name is on the front page of the program. Can you give me a program? I'd like to read the names. No, the program. Do we have a program? Did you ever print a program, by the way? Damn. Thanks to Dr. Michael Faqih, who is not here, but he was in spirit with us. Hold your applause. Thanks for my nephew Ali Siblani, and I'm going to thank him again. Thanks to Jihad Fadlallah. He is a soldier that you take with you to war, and you will win. Thanks to Ali Jawad, keeps us online. Thanks to Jim Safiuddin and his generosity. Thanks to Nabil Faqih. Thanks to Ali Birri. Thanks to Dr. Haifa Fakhouri. Thank you to Raja, my wife, Raja Sukkari. Thank you for attorney Maryam Bazzi. Thank you, Abed, attorney Abed Hamoud. Thank you, Kamal Turfa. He's always keeping us nervous in here and guessing. Thanks to Ghassan Hawrani, my good friend Ghassan Hawrani. Without you, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what, drink tea and eat and vent. He's always listening to me. He told me that we should give an award to your wife because she's living with you. Thanks to Abi Bazzi, to attorney Abi Bazzi. Thanks to Nasser Baydoun. Thank you, Ned Fawaz, my friend. We both look so young in this video. And thanks to my good friend attorney Nabi Ayad, and thanks to Salim Sassin, and to Sam Baidoun, and to Shakir Aoun, and to Frank Dabajan. Thank you all. There is a list in here. I can't thank enough those people who came forward with checks. Thanks to Lashish, who came in with top dollars to sponsor this banquet. And thanks to Michael Faqih, who came in also with top dollars, and also all the pharmacists, everyone sitting in here. I cannot thank you enough for doing what you have done. Our community is a very generous community and a very supportive one. I just want people to know, outside of our community and inside our community, that this is a very generous community. And if you know how much we have raised, you will be extremely shocked that it was far more than we have expected and far more than we have planned, with little effort. So this is a great community. I am happy. I am proud. My hands are in the air, but my feet are on the ground, and my back is to a mountain called the Arab American community in Detroit. I want to thank all the sponsors. I can't name the sponsors. We forgot to put even tables for them, so I'm not going to go into this. I want to also thank those people who supported the Arab American News and demanded to remain anonymous. I'm talking about big money in here. But I'm telling you, everybody came here and praised Osama up and down, and you might think that I will have a big fat head. You're right. But the truth is, I know. I understand. And I do not have a big fat head. I have a big heart, yes. But I don't have a big fat head. I have a commitment. I work hard. I love my people. Yes, I do. But it is not me who made all this success. There are people who work hard, stay with me all night, work harder than me to put the paper. And I owe it to them, and you owe it to them. And this success is not mine, it's theirs. And I wanted to ask the Arab American News staff to please stand up. I think they're up anyway. And please stay standing, stay standing. I wanted to ask the former Arab American News staff who worked here and volunteered for or contributed to the Arab American News to please stand up. It's you. It's you. It belongs to you. You are the success. You are the story. You are the one who is praised in every word that was uttered to me tonight. It is you. Please have a seat. I wanted to thank our readers. And most of you, I hope that you are our readers. We're going to quiz you in a little bit. Without them, actually, we will not exist. They are the one that made us popular destination for advertising. Without readers, people do not advertise, and without advertising, you do not generate revenues. And here I would like to pose to say, to honor someone who's not here today. He's in Lebanon, but some members of his family probably they are here. Wife is here, she's and his son. Now, this guy, this man, that I'm about to mention, and it's a good story for the Detroit News. In 1995, for unforeseen reason, I'm not going to get into it because it will take an additional 15 minutes, we lost our archives. Everything from 1985 to 1995 was destroyed somehow. So we had no archives. For years, I was puzzled what to do. How do we get the archives, back into the digital age was not here yet. We had nothing backed up to a computer or anything like that. Kamel Bazzi, a community member and a regular reader of the Arab American News, kept every issue of the Arab American News in his house. He kept it, not only he kept it, but he archived every story in it manually. And what is important in here, and I would like to thank him for, is that when he knew that we needed the archives, he brought the archives and he said, nobody deserves this than you. So, Kamel Bazzi, his wife and his son are here. Can you please stand up? I have a plaque. I have a plaque of recognition. Unfortunately, it's not done on time but we'll present it to you and we will take it to your home. Thank you very much. And please give our best regard to Mr. Bazzi. Now, like I said, without advertising, the newspaper will not exist. We need the money, we need the support, the financial support in order for us to be editorially independent and financially stable. Financially stable and editorially independent, the opposite way. And for this, we picked a very important advertiser. All the advertisers are important and we appreciate them, but this particular advertiser has some characteristics that are very exceptional. First of all, it is the longest advertiser in the Arab American News since its inception in 1985. This customer has been with us for a long time. Started in a small place in Schaefer, and then he grew to become a household name all over the United States. We helped little, just a little, we hope. And unfortunately, he is not with us. He passed away 2 years ago. But he left a great family, a family that is carrying the message, holding the company and moving it forward. It is my privilege, my honor, to make a presentation to the family of the late Riyad Shatila, to Mrs. Zainat Shatila, and to her 3 beautiful daughters. Our recognition as the best advertiser. We appreciate your business, we appreciate your leadership, and I'd like you to come forward to represent, take your declaration. Zainat, and whoever wants to come with her, come over here. Come over here. It's true that Riyad is not here, but we are here. And I told you years ago that we are here to stand by you, behind you, and with you. Shatila Food Product is not your company. It's the legacy of Riyad Shatila, and it is our company. And we wanted to thank you for moving it forward, for doing the right thing, for having 3 beautiful daughters helping you, and you are doing an excellent job. So what I did is on the first anniversary of his passing away, we wrote a very good story about Mr. Shatila and his dream of having the Shatila Food Company. And we made a plaque out of it. And we would like you to hang it in Shatila's store because it represents actually the Shatila legacy, at least part of his legacy. Thank you very much, Zainab. We are not alone. Our message is too big of a message, and we need help. Of course, all the organizations are helping, and they're working very hard to debunk the stereotypes, stereotypical images of Arabs and Muslims. But there is one individual who is doing it on a scale that is important and that is needed on campuses and in newsroom and across the country. That person is Joe Grimm. Joe Grimm, ladies and gentlemen, was at one time an editor of the Detroit Free Press. He left the Free Press. He is a professor of journalism at Michigan State University. But this man has so much time on his hand that he comes to Dearborn and goes to Detroit and around the country and even internationally, teaching kids in the middle school journalism. He teaches, he raises money, and he spends his time teaching people at McAuliffe Eunice journalism, buys them cameras and makes website for them and teach them journalism. More importantly, he published several series of books about 100 questions about Arabs that you should know, 100 questions about Muslims that you should know. He's doing 100 questions about the Jewish community. He's doing 100 questions about the Latinos, and so on and so forth. So please welcome Joe Grimm again to receive this declaration. These are the two books. You can buy them from stores around, I think on Amazon and other places. www.joegrimm.com. No. Thank you, Joe. You can carry it, right? Can you carry it? There are some people who are not with us, but who have made a significant impact on the Arab American news and the Arab American community, and that is the former editor of the paper, Mariana Kaseblani, who died January 1st, 2013. She lost her battle to cancer, and we really lost a great fighter for our community and a great writer in our paper. So her family is here. I believe that her family is here, right? So could you please stand up and be recognized? I cannot get out here without mentioning someone who have left an impact on my life and on the paper and in the community. And that was the late Mustafa Hamoud, the father of my dear friend Abed Hamoud. This man was very wise. He also was very dedicated, supportive, loyal, a friend, companion. Anything you want, you can find in Mustafa Hamoud. He raised a beautiful family, and his family is here. I miss his wisdom, I miss him terribly, but I always find it in Mazen and in Abed and Ali, and in his daughters and his granddaughters and his grandson. Can you please stand and be recognized? Thanks to Haifa Fakhouri, the ACC, and the staff. Thanks to Haifa Fakhouri in particular, and to the Arab American and Chaldean Council because of their support for so many years. They were very significant to the success and the continuation of the Arab American news. And thanks to my nephew Ali Sablani in particular. He is the backbone, he is my backbone, he's my son. He's my friend. His support was crucial to the survival and prosperity of the Arab American News. His mother and father, who has happened to be also like a father to me, and he is my oldest brother, Arkan, came from Lebanon 2 days ago just to attend this function. Please stand up and be recognized. Thanks to my extended family, to my older brother Adnan, and to my sister Nada, who also came from Lebanon to be here with us today. And thanks to his family and to the support of his family, they're all here with us. I love you. Please stand up and be recognized. And of course, my own family, my wife Raja, and my son Adrian. Thank you both for your support and love. I love and appreciate both of you. And Ghassan always said to me, Raja should be getting an award for putting up with your BS. And how the heck is she living with you? So for that, I wanted to say thank you and I love you. Please stand up and be recognized. Thanks to Flowers by Renee, who donated all the flowers on the table. Don't take it with you. Just take it. And thanks to the people who are going to pay the bill for the dinner, which is Shakir Aoun and my nephew Ali. And thanks to Habib. And most importantly, thank you and for an additional 30 years to come. The program is not over. I almost forgot an important person. Ali Jawad told me you can never go back again, and I'm not. But that's an exception. I'm going to get in trouble if I don't do that. My dear friend, Paul Abadi, the head of the FBI. I forgot even to mention. Thank you for coming, and we always love to have you on our Saturday brunch. Thank you. And Adib, thank you for coming. Thank you for your support. I'm not coming back again.
Thank you all for coming, and there are a few more people that I'd like to recognize. U.S. Attorney Barb McQuaid was here earlier, but she had to leave. Dearborn City Council Member Mike Serini. Dearborn School Board Trustee Amy Shellis. Now, we're about to serve dinner, but the program is not over. We have a few more recognitions and people we'd like to call up to the podium. So please enjoy your dinner and stick around for a little bit longer. We promise it won't be long. Thank you.